Hello, Internet. Welcome to the second session of our Train Tribunal for tournament. Told you guys it would take 2 sessions. I knew you would want to argue things quite some time.
You gave us the chance to do Ace Attorney in real life. Of course,
Yes.
I was gonna take it.
Absolutely. Also, Dan, you are very clicky-clacky right now.
Yes, sorry. I'm explaining what the fuck is going on to Melissa.
Oh, majestic.
Just invite her in to listen.
That would be a little bit much right now, but I think the only fair thing to do for this is we will start with the environment, because you guys are in the charge that is most weird, interesting, and full of an NPC you've never met before. Sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Go off, King.
All right. So, start of Yellow is the environment's turn, where Mercury gets called up to give testimony. Oh no, I left most of my dice somewhere else. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That's what online dice rollers are for. So, Mercury comes up to the stand. He kind of just walks on the air up. Like somebody's like, all right, finally. I got places to be, guys. Anyway. So, I'm here not just as myself, but here representing a lot of people. And he sort of looks out over the room, and everyone gets the hair on the back of their neck kind of raising when you feel his gaze pass over you, like there is a light and force behind him, the likes of which you've never really felt before.
How many gods did we piss off?
Many.
I use we probably a little loosely here.
This is good. So, again, I'm here because I can be here. You, pointing to Mr. C, removed everyone's ability to travel freely and didn't reissue it. And I'm not sure how much you know, but there's a lot of mail going around. Lots of things that lots of people want to talk about, and now they can't. And also a fair bit of responsibility that, I'm fine. I can run here. It's no problem. But, did you ever think about what happens when the different sea gods can't exactly get in communication about where the tides are going? Because I'll tell ya, it's problems.
Mr. Conductor is just gonna have this bewildered look like there's looking back at the rest of the team and like there's multiple sea gods. What?
I just kind of look over and like, I don't even know why this surprises you anymore, Brass Hat.
I'm going to give Mr. Conductor a look that clearly says you are not going to say that out loud.
Yep.
I know I'm not saying that out loud.
And from that, so pretty much, yeah. A lot of us gave, a fair number of people, they were more active in the past. There was a nice agreement we had with, he waits for a moment, Mr. Station Master, that's the name now, Mr. Station Master here, and the Mr. Conductors of the past about how it'd be more organized, people wouldn't go wherever, there wouldn't be problems, and now that's all torn up. So, what you gonna do about it? Mr. Station Master is going to, thank you, Mercury. Foundry, do you have anything you would like to say in this regard?
I do. So this seems like the point where we're going to have to break out the roughed out version 1 of the reissuing plan. As it happens, we are aware of many of the potential issues caused by the decision to revoke the various unlimited train passes. However, all right, I'm trying to think of what
we have a plan.
Well, yes, we have a plan, but I'm also trying to make sure we get the justification of Mr. C's actions in before we unveil the plan.
I think it is. I mean, to sum up out of character, is that Mr. C had effectively not been properly briefed on like the individuals who had been issued this, and because he foresaw problems and he wants to be the best station master possible, he wanted to be more personally responsible for issuing these tickets.
It's also probably worth bringing up the fact that there were a lot of tickets that were given by a previous rogue Mr. Conductor that were.
Okay, I think all right. I think I have a plan now.
And with the current system, there was no way to keep track of who actually had a ticket.
I will certainly agree with Mr. Mercury that the existing system was very efficient. In some ways, this efficiency was placed above all other considerations. In his time as Mr. Conductor, our current Mr. Conductor has in fact seen no shortage of abuses of this system, between tickets being transferred to unsavory individuals who would normally not be able to obtain tickets without permission or authorization from the governing body or from Mr. Conductor himself. These issues have caused significant harm in the mortal realm. When I started this game, I did not think that Foundry would be saying any words like this, but here we are. I was just making a big dumb factory worker with a mecha.
Nope.
This is so good, Dan.
You're Phoenix right now.
Apparently.
You are the Ace Attorney.
And in light of these constant abuses and their negative effects on both the mortal realm as a whole, as well as quite frankly, I imagine it reflects poorly on the reputation of the railway as a whole, which I'm sure no one here is would be happy to feel that way. Mr. Conductor decided to take what may indeed be shown to be a drastic action. However, that does not mean that this was done recklessly or without purpose. And as it happens, we do also have a solution for this problem, one that will go a long way to help prevent the abuses that caused this drastic line of action in the first place. Mr. Station Master, if I may present our proposed solution, obviously this will require some amount of revision and going over with you as Station Master, as well as the various train leadership, to iron out any unforeseen kinks, of course.
Mr. Station Master just nods and says, proceed.
All right, and for this part, I will certainly need Mr. Conductor's help with explaining the intricacies of the ticket system, because I don't know about any of that magic mumbo jumbo.
You're just a simple Chicago union rep.
I'm just the best goddamn bird lawyer in the world.
He is. So, Foundry, can you first give me
Not a
your
big city
overcome, because you'd be passed to, and then whoever's presenting will get the chance to give their overcome.
Yes, I would very much like to use Principle of Defender for this.
Yeah, you can use that basically freely this entire scene.
Excellent. I think I'm also going to throw a +3 into this.
Reasonable.
Am I fair to do inventions and creativity since it was a plan that we had drawn up? Or I guess inventions in blue collar?
Yeah, inventions in blue collar makes sense.
All right. Okay, with the +3 and the principle, that's a 9.
All right, that is 1 hit.
Ooh.
We're getting there.
My lawyer doing his lawyering things.
I'm doing so much lawyering.
Maximum lawyer here. All right, Vouchiga, who is presenting this plan? Is it Mr. C?
I think it would be appropriate for Mr. C, since ultimately it's on him for a lot of the execution and enforcement.
I mean, I was going to more focus on the emotional aspect of it to see if I could get an overcome out of it.
All right.
Which I
Well-
can go now to see if that is acceptable for trains.
I mean,
Seems reasonable.
All right, hold on a minute. I don't actually have roll 20 pulled up yet. So yeah, Mr. C is gonna be looking around, at the accusers. I forget what the hell, like Mercury, Mogwin, and Tamarin are considered in this case.
Plaintiffs.
Witnesses for they're just plaintiffs. They're not witnesses for the plaintiffs.
So Mercury is both.
Okay. I'm just going to look at the podium, like look at Mr. Station Master, look at them, and then especially like lock eyes with Thomas and a few of the other trains that are around, and I'm like, look, everyone, we during the last bout we had in Chicago, people called in tickets. I was not aware that those tickets were issued, and then I realized that there was an inherent problem with having tickets free floating throughout so many different worlds, so many different dimensions that allow free travel between them, especially when so many of these tickets are transferable from one person to another. It doesn't make sense for these tickets to constantly exist and just go unchecked. Now, for any tickets that had been previously purchased, my plan was to offer refunds, and for some lifetime ticket holders, my intention was to reissue those tickets. However, instead of them being lifetime tickets, being the lifetime of the person who purchased them, also be the lifetime of the current Mr. Conductor. I feel it is Mr. Conductor's responsibility not only to know to issue the tickets for the Magic Railway to keep it running, but also to be aware of everyone who's currently using the service. That way, it leads to greater understanding of what the needs are for our customers and also prevents the abuse and misuse of our trains, which my understanding has been in the past several decades. Several trains have had abuse. The rail system has been misused for nefarious purposes. And I, for one, don't think that can stand. As Mr. Conductor, I feel like it is my obligation, my duty, to prevent that from happening. After all, I'm going to say this, I'm going to look at, Mr. Station Master first. We have to take care of the trains. They come first. And Nick, I would like to make a roll Principle of Order.
Absolutely.
It's one of the 2 abilities I still have.
Yep.
May I roll Intuition, and can I get away with magical lore?
Yes. There will be a response before the next PC action who has to defend against it, but yes, you can.
Okay. Hold on a minute. I think I have points that I can burn on this. What did I save from last? week. I think I had a +4 for this case. Let me just double check. Apologies.
I'll never forgive you.
As you shouldn't. Yeah, I have a +4 for train tribunal, so I will use the +4 for train tribunal. Chugga chugga choo choo. How about a 14, Nick?
Woo!
Spicy.
That sounds pretty good. That does get you 2 hits. There is a response coming out from Mr. Station Master and Mercury, though. Mr. Station Master nods and goes, that is... It's a good argument. I had hoped to spare the various Mr. Conductors from some of these duties, but... This is a reasonable plan. Mercury chimes in. So, Mr. Conductor, how good are you at numbers?
Do I have to wait for my next turn, or can I?
No, you can just respond.
I mean, I'm an educated man. I think I'm good with numbers.
All right, so, how long do you think it would take for you to talk to someone and issue them a lifetime ticket? Or a ticket for your new system?
A ticket for my new system? Well, if we're going off of individuals who who under this plan would have credit from old tickets, I don't know. Let's say to be extra thorough and make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Let's say 15 minutes.
Sure. That's fine. So, not sure if you're aware. I'm here because I can be here, and there's people here who, I'm representing in multiple circumstances. It's, 15 minutes times, 1.5 billion. Now, I'm going to be clear. Might be not all these gods need that, but, have you noticed other parts of the world? I mean, the biggest 3 who, are real mad about what's going on are, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, which, between the 3 of them, are about 500 million themselves.
I'm trying to decide if I'm educated enough to know who those are.
I'm not, which is why I'm gonna have an argument for this.
I'm actually gonna I'm gonna poke Sean with this. I'm like, hey, Tom, who are those guys he's talking about?
Do I have any idea? I feel like this is far enough that Ireland probably did not have communication with them, so at best I have a vague idea of just other
actually,
gods and spirits.
I probably should ask the journalist, actually.
Right now, your 2 best options are Satanic Shot and Iona.
Yeah, I'm just all right. I'm gonna redirect it. Red, who's flighty wings they're referring to?
Do I know, Nick?
You are allowed to make a roll to see if you know, because you have any plausibility of knowing.
Like you're
This-
actually educated.
Yeah, like this is outside of combat turn.
Okay, can I roll intuition and Herod journalist for this?
Absolutely.
And yellow right now?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I feel like the majority of us have no way of knowing this.
Yep.
Can I
it's
can
great.
I roll with principle of detective for this?
Yes, you can.
Fuck yes. Yeah.
No, Lex, this is what I was waiting for last session.
That's an 8.
That's a success.
Yeah, so Ruth, you know that like it's weird, but like there's some weird hierarchies like some of the chief 3 gods in Hinduism.
Have we heard of Hinduism? Again,
Which-
honest question.
Which Ruth would say it's from India.
Oh, I know
Okay,
that
yeah.
one.
Where the fuck is India?
No, I think India is at least common knowledge.
Yeah, but I couldn't. But fucking Tom can't point out where India is on a map.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that's
Most
actually
of us
reasonable.
probably
You know,
cannot.
Tommy, it's in the east. You know, near like China or something.
Oh, okay.
Did she say they're from Indiana?
No,
India.
in
India.
You know, like West Indies and stuff, like Marco Polo.
What?
Yeah, you know, like that rhyme, Marco Polo. Went to like the West Indies and stuff. What, you didn't sing that when you were a kid? Little rhyme? Huh?
I thought it was in 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
Oh, it isn't not Columbus, brass hat. That's a different guy.
That's the only
Columbus
rhyme
was
I
on
know.
a ship. Marco Polo took a road. Easy difference, eh?
The Silk Road, right?
Yeah, that one. I think.
Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah. I remember that.
It's so hard being this dumb.
It's just like, I don't know. I have bare minimum information. I'm still just flabbergasted.
My gif is Xanatos just noping out of this bunch of geographically illiterate fucktwads.
Why would we know?
You have
We
no
wouldn't.
reason to know.
Not the group that would know this.
But this is 100% something. When Izzy told me what Mr. C was going to do, I was like, oh.
I mean, just quietly, that doesn't sound bad. How many people does that even account for, right? Can't be as big as the U.S.
This is bad.
So wait.
I mean, still, if we're talking on the levels of gods, that's still a bad level. Like, point blank.
I mean, wait, hold on. Why do they need 1.5 billion tickets? There's only 3 gods.
Yeah, I'm confused by that too.
Can we get clarified on that one? Hey, Tommy, can you get a clarifying statement there?
Could you
Tommy, press the witness.
Could you clarify why would 3 gods? That's like I assume these are gods. Why would 3 gods need that many tickets?
Oh, no. I don't want to spend a lot of time wasting everyone's time explaining how many gods are over there. These are the 3 that I thought you might know. The 3 in charge of a pretty wide amount, but certainly not everything. And boy, there are a lot more in various parts of the world who are now figuring out what they're going to do instead.
Oh shit, guys, we've opened up American Gods here. Neil Gaiman's coming for us.
So, Mr. Conductor.
I mean, I'd argue that not everyone gets a ticket.
Do it, cat.
That's an interesting question, and I will probably make that argument, but
because like I could argue that like every single Fae gets a with that, and like I know every single Fae did not get a ticket.
Well, hold on. Can I? If they've done theirs, can I actually do an overcome here?
Sure, someone should take an overcome to try and argue about this.
Let me take my turn, and I'm actually going to I'm going to bullshit a criminal, a principal of the underworld for what I'm about to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, hey, Tommy, you mind if I take this for a minute?
Yeah, give it a shot.
All right, look, Mr. Mercury, right?
One of the many names, but yeah, Mr. Mercury right now.
Right, I actually think I recognize you there. Whatever. Anyways, let me go with that line of questioning here. So you're saying there's about estimatedly maybe 1.5 billion of these tickets that need to be reissued, right?
At least just to the people I'm representing here, I don't know.
Right.
These three have other numbers.
So okay, that's on the upper end, these three big ones. But let's go the other way with this. How many people we talking on the lower end that need a ticket like that? Just I know your time is valuable, but give me an example. Someone pretty low on the power structure here, because I'll be honest, I don't really know a lot about gods or any of that, but I do understand a well-oiled infrastructure designed to run and operate well.
It's reasonable to overcome.
Which I actually do. But I want to talk this out for a minute before I make the overcome.
All right, so here's a question. You understand well-oiled infrastructure. Does the boss do everything? The chief, the head honcho, whoever's on top, do they get involved in who needs to deliver things 2, 3, 4 layers down?
No, and I get you. That's what I'm saying. Just give me an example. Like hear me out, though. Hear me out. Who's like an example, someone low on the totem pole that would need a ticket?
All right,
Just
so
give me one example. One guy.
let's use your own area here, which I'm
right.
not as familiar with. But let's use your own area. The Mississippi River.
All right.
So
Sure, why not?
I'm pretty sure the god in charge of the Mississippi River is going to need to travel back and forth between wherever they live and here for when problems happen.
All right.
So does your Mr. Conductor need to negotiate with the Mississippi River and also the Hudson River and also I'm honestly really not as sure about your area, or should he be talking to America and America determines where these rivers need to actually show up and not?
I'm gonna just sit there for a second. I'm like, okay, capitalism makes so much more sense now. And I'm like, anyways, no, listen, Mercury, listen, you're right. I get you. Believe me, as a guy who's been there, I understand. Sometimes you need that leeway and you don't always need to ask immediate permission. But here's the thing, too. If the guys in the low ranks do need that permission, that ticket, it also means they're not always as personally responsible. So here's what I propose in terms of a economic structure here. And again, feel free, Mr. C, to stop me if you don't like any of this. Mr. C still needs to negotiate with the higher ups for who gets tickets. That's not changing. But that doesn't mean he's got to negotiate with every single guy, Joe, and schmuck out there. Huh? For Mr. C, he's just got to negotiate with the big guys, the ones who represent everyone else. Because they know their structures better than Mr. C is going to know it. So they can tell Mr. C who needs those tickets. The thing is, though, that makes them responsible. So any misuse of the ticket, that shouldn't be coming back on Mr. C. That has to come back on them. So that both saves time, but it does make them a little more responsible, which, from the way the system is, as it should be. Bosses are bosses for a reason. They got to take responsibility when one of the minions, when one of their guys doesn't do a good job. Capiche?
I would also make the argument that each ticket upon issuing is only valid for a single person and cannot be transferred.
Yeah. So here's the proposal with this. Mr. C can issue tickets en masse, but he's going to issue them to the big guys. So that way he's only dealing with a couple of people, and then those guys will specifically assign them to the list that Mr. C is given by those big guys, and those tickets are not transferable. So if the big guys want things changed, they got to come to Mr. C. Saves time for all the little guys doing their job, and if it really is that important, then you got to give Mr. C that respect so he can do his job as well. And I'm going to make the overcome now.
Please do.
You will respect me.
Actually, hold on. There's a classic that needs to be brought out.
See what I have. I'm seeing what I have for.
There it is.
Yep.
Good
All
job,
right,
Dan.
I really want this to succeed, so I'm going to spend 4 points on this to just get it an automatic success. I am going to use Principle of the Underworld because I feel I made a good case for that.
Yeah, given everything, yeah.
And we're in yellow?
You're in yellow.
All right, so I think Intuition is the die for this then.
Oh, damn it, Dan beat me.
With the 4, that is a 12.
All right. It's like,
Is that 2?
all
Is
right.
that 2? Is that overwhelming, or does 13 need to be overwhelming?
That is overwhelming.
So 2 successes then.
You have one more you need for charge 2. Mercury's
Yeah,
gonna
but
leave
That's
like-
the only remaining charge, or were there
Yep.
more?
Yeah,
No,
but
we got the other 2.
Yep.
But then we should also have the character witnesses come up for the secret chart.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait, I have secret charges?
No, the secret
Nick
chart.
said that there were secret things, so no idea.
You'll see.
Oh,
All right. I guess who does spirits or satanic shop feel like they can make the good final argument?
I can make one.
My head is currently empty. Go for it.
All right, then I'll pass it to Gwyn the Green Death.
All right, so following that argument, you get Mercury. I was like, all right, so you're gonna be negotiating mostly with the leaders of each groups. Bunch of them. Couple is figuring out who that is gonna be complicated, but I suppose that's a you problem, not a me problem. I know who my boss is. It'll take some time, causes some problems. And, I'm still not sure what you're gonna do when one of the bosses says, I need 200 million tickets.
who's talking right now?
Mercury.
It's still Mercury. Always Mercury.
He's the current problem. He is the big problem for this charge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's let the supernatural person make the supernatural argument.
My argument is not really as supernatural based, but it will include that a little bit of just like
more coffee. I'll be back.
the thing of
Sounds good.
just like, so Mercury is bringing up that these areas have tons and tons of gods and that they therefore need tons and tons of tickets. As someone from the Feywild, where we have a very large number of Fey, I assure you, I can promise you not everyone in the Feywild gets a ticket, nor honestly should probably everyone in the Feywild have a ticket, which I am sure is something that Mulgwyn and the current Tagarum would agree on. The current system basically led to what I think everyone else would call chaos, and while I don't normally mind it, if your goal is to be the one keeping order, you have to actually know who is going to be using the tickets, when the trains are going to be in use, what their work schedule is going to be like. I've been recently introduced to things like the 9 to 5 office hours because you need to not be working people ragged. And if you have, how many trains does, I've met all the trains, how many was it again?
You have not, in fact, met all the trains. I have not, in fact, met all the trains.
And if you're going to leave it to trains that are going to be running at any hour at any time, they're going to end up being run ragged.
And after after Gwen the Green Death says that, I will look at Mr. Station Master and say, You need to look out for the trains.
If you're having tickets that are lasting for a lifetime, it can be used whenever, and you have billions upon billions of those in circulation. There is no way that can be good for the trains constantly being summoned from everywhere in the world at any given time. If you want to do some stuff with like, I don't like set hours, but I know that there are hours where the things for transferring over to ferry and things like that are a bit more, that the fey realms are more accessible, that there are times when the mortals can get to us when they would normally not be. Those are kind of set in old laws and old ways of magic. If you're going to be saying that there needs to be billions of people being able to move around via the trains, there's a thing that I've been told of called a schedule. And I think that is going to be good spirits roll. I don't think I get to do Principle of Chaos because this is like the...
This is close to the opposite of that.
Yeah, I'm going to use the assistant I have from Athene, so that's a +1. I'm going to spend 3 points for making that a total of a +4. I have no power there. Can I use otherworldly mythos because of the fact that... Actually, can I use otherworldly... Okay, I'm actually going to spend a +1 from hero points to make that +2, and otherwise spend 4 hero points to allow myself to reroll lowest die on this, as I'm going to be rolling Untrained Power, Otherworldly Mythos, and Yellow. And let me see if there's anything else that makes sense to grab from Thanes. I don't think I really have something that qualifies here from saved other stuff. So I think that is just going to be a +2. I get to reroll that to D10.
You do.
Roll the dice.
Well, it's
Slightly
still going to be going with the slightly better, but the best die is still... that is going to be a 5.
Welcome back.
Right, because this is just mid.
Thank you.
Which is a success with a minor twist. And I think the minor twist is something of my character now getting saddled with the fact that they said, you know what, a work schedule can be good.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, the fact that Gwyn and Malgwyn are going to hold him to that later, I think is the biggest twist that it can be done as a penalty him.
100%.
Malwyn and the Prince of Cats will remember that action.
Yep. Like, I am going to suggest that as for what my minor twist is.
Burgundy's going to try to object, and Mr. Station Master will step in and say, these are all reasonable arguments. They are good for the trains. They make sense considering everything. He sits and pauses for a moment and goes, it is perhaps true that we have long granted more leeway to certain people than others, and I am now taking that into consideration.
Why does that sound ominous and foreboding and not supportive?
He's going to continue shortly. And you see the trains looking at each other. There's some whispering and tooting where, unfortunately, Mr. Conductor doesn't understand tooting as the trains deliberate.
Do the trains have 2 separate languages?
They're speaking in Morse code.
The trains absolutely have two separate languages. They can speak English, in quotes, but they also toot at each other.
Oh my gosh, no! I must learn train speak.
Is that really what's best for the trains? Is it?
I mean, what if English is a learned language that they have to speak? So that means there are some trains I can't communicate with. Yes, it is in my best interest to learn how to toot.
It is true, you must learn how to toot, but Mr. Station Master sits for a bit. And then things continues. Of the charges, it will be up to the trains to see where they feel. There is, however, one other issue about what has occurred. This is not an issue for our guests and our plaintiffs, but an issue for the operation of the train yard. What it stands for and what it does. This is the issue of that, once again, a loss of life has been wrought by the trains. And I would like to hear your arguments for why this is justified. This is an internal issue to our dear guests who have given testimony and who have not. Thank you for appearing. There are several toots in the background, and the trains are talking. If there is something about the current issue with which you think you have a right to speak, please let it be known. Otherwise, this is more an internal issue, and we will call upon the character witnesses for Mr. Conductor for why this has happened. Please, defense team, deliberate amongst yourselves. For out of character, I need to use the bathroom.
All right. Well,
Izzy, you're getting your wish.
at least the gods aren't going to judge you anymore, brass hat. Now it's just going to be the trains.
Also, Izzy, out of character, you got your wish.
What was my wish?
You specifically said that the thing about the fact that the fact you committed a murder wasn't even part of the deliberations.
It's true.
We're on.
But now it is, baby.
Prove me wrong.
At end of the line.
End of the line.
Side note, that has to be the name of the final issue.
It's true.
Like whenever we get to it in game, that's got to be the final issue's name.
Not end of the line, just end of line.
No, it has to be end of the line.
I mean, it could also be last. You could also just make it last stop.
That's true.
Stop.
Last stop works too.
Good Spirits is not the best one to be arguing this. Because while Good Spirits is like generally not murder, Good Spirits probably has a different opinion on death and things like that than everyone else here has gone over after everything went down, of just like, yeah, you know what, people die, if people die, it happens.
I need to look up some legal precedent real quick.
So what's? I mean, in character, like, well, Mr. C, what do you want us to argue here?
I'm honestly going to just state the truth in this matter.
All right.
If I was out of line in this case, I acted out of anger, rage.
I would hesitate to frame it like that in this context.
I mean, not necessarily. This is more an appeal to the trains, right? Not necessarily to any like trial specifically.
I would certainly, you can certainly say that it was emotional. However, what you should probably frame it as is you were you were distressed by how these situations affected both the basically you were struck with how this horrible situation and the abuses of the system affect your brethren, both trained and otherwise, within the organization.
Is to see how good are the trains at smelling bullshit when you say it.
I've
It's
never
also
lied.
not a lie.
I mean,
No.
I've never lied to the trains. I've never seen the need. I mean,
Yeah, like I don't know if I'd take that tact either. Like you were honest. You thought your wife was gonna die.
she did die. I mean, we have witness of the person who brought her back from the brink.
I don't know if trying to deny that, trying to like legally is the no in this case.
I don't think denying it is needed. I think we need to bring it back around to the bigger picture. Because that's where the strength of our argument is.
Yeah, but something about it feels kind of slimy trying to justify a murder.
Mm.
No offense, Mr. C, that's what it was.
I'm I'm well aware of what it was. He's gonna say he's colors draining out of his face a little bit.
My point is I think trying to legalese around it is not the best solution here. I think owning it and the why of it is much more important, especially since it was these guys who were the people who even pushed the trains in this situation in the first place. After all, it's because of the Italians that Diesel did what he did, right?
Initially, yeah. But this time was all on me.
I mean, did Diesel have to come and help you?
Um, Nick,
Yes?
I believe the answer to that question is no. Right? Or am I wrong on that?
So, I think the answer for how you fluffed your power is there are some trains who will answer the call for each one of your powers.
Yeah.
There's relatively few who would answer your red power, but it's more than just Diesel.
Yeah. But specifically, he did answer it because I put in a play.
Yes.
So I didn't force it. Okay. Yeah, that's
Like,
the key right there.
and that's kind of my point here. You didn't force any train to do anything.
No.
You never force the train to do anything. You ask.
Yeah.
That makes a world of difference.
It's also potentially worth bringing up how much how much the other one was doing before they were dealt with. How they were going to just be killing.
I mean, it doesn't justify what I did. But if you
No,
want to
no,
bring that up,
but I would at least speak from the heart. And even then, look, you feel bad that you did that, right, Mr. C? You feel bad? Did you feel bad that you're like, let me ask this. Do you regret having Diesel do that? Honestly, no bullshitting me here.
having had time to to think about what my actions and process it. Yes, I regret that it ended that way. But by that same token, if I was put in the exact same situation again, I feel I would make the exact same choice. Knowing, and again, that's me needing to be better.
So tell them that. The trains listen to you. They'll listen best if you speak from the heart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only human.
That's a strength, not a weakness, brass hat.
Oh no, I know. I don't know if they consider it a strength.
Do you trust them?
I'm gonna look around at a couple of the familiar faces poking their heads through the window, and I'm say, more than you know.
Then trust that they'll listen to you. You're the conductor, after all. You're the guy with the whistle. So let them hear you.
Yeah. So out of character. My plan is just to say my piece, and hopefully you guys are going to be able to dig me out of this if it looks like a problem.
That's the hope.
Mechanically, Ruth gets to be the first one to try and defend you.
Oh god.
You could choose to boost someone else instead. That is always an option.
Yeah, but why would you say something?
Oh, should I? Do you want me to defend before you've even had a chance to say anything?
Or you could boost him.
I feel like let's let Mr. C go for, defend himself first, and then Ruth can respond to it, maybe impulsively, maybe not.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, yeah, I'm just going. Oh, wait a minute. Are all the witnesses that we brought?
Your witnesses are still here.
Okay, so
Well, why doesn't Ruth? How about this? Why doesn't Ruth bring up Carl first, and then Carl can leave?
Okay. Also, I'm gonna have to mute for a minute.
I know that's where you were
Yeah,
going.
that's fair.
What do you think of that idea?
I'm down with it. I think I will motion to Mr. Station Master and say, respectfully, Mr. Station Master, I feel as if it would be a good move to first have our character witnesses speak so that we could get a better understanding of Mr. Conductor as a whole rather than how he behaved in one instance.
His Majesty, sustained. Please call who you would like to the stand.
Mr. Carl Trainlin, could you please come up to the witness stand?
Carl's gonna come up. He's looking at him. He's like, I really, I don't really know, yes, I don't really know who Mr. Conductor is. I was asked to help because I've read a lot about him. I've seen him do things. I know that he helps people. He's helped a lot of people. I don't really think Mr. Conductor would kill anyone. Like, this sounds fake and wrong. Like, it doesn't sound real. I don't think you'd do it.
Why do you think that, Carl?
I mean, Mr. Conductor helps people. he helped those people with the falling buildings. He got a lot of people out of the way in everything that happened yesterday. And I know the paper doesn't really say nice things about him, but I don't know. Like, whenever Mr. Conductor's around, the paper doesn't say anyone died, and that sounds like he's the one who did that.
Quite frankly, I don't think I'm asking any follow-up questions. I'm just using Carl as a baseline for public kind of opinion.
Sounds
Unless anybody has any questions they want me to ask a small child.
Nah, I think that works.
Yeah.
so. Carl's just giving you a straight success, even though he's a D4.
Yeah. Go Carl.
Baby!
Go
He's
Carl.
very good.
A good little boy.
Yeah.
What did he do? I'm sorry.
He said that Mr. Conductor was cruel and was cool and
Wouldn't
saves
kill
people. Yeah,
He wouldn't kill anyone.
Yeah. I
he's baby
disappoint,
boy.
I disappoint my son.
Yeah, what?
He doesn't have to know that.
So Carl, are you going to ask that Carl go back home before more testimony is given?
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, could we actually, Mr. Station Master, once witness has spoken, since we want to close the court anyways, have them be sent back home or at least out of the courtroom?
Yeah, Mr. Station Master will be fine with this because Mr. Station Master has a fairly high wisdom score.
Very good, very good.
All right, so Carl and Jitters are going to head out.
Woot woot.
Bye, Jitters.
Bye, Jitters.
The X at this point is someone leaving because they no longer have important testimony to give.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you want to call any of your other character witnesses up before anyone else speaks?
I would also like to call up Marty Sloan.
Yes, definitely.
So Marty's going to come up. He's going to sigh. Mr. C came to me to try and help people. Look, I'm a cop. Sometimes bad things happen in the line of duty. But every time I've spoken to Mr. C, he's been focused on keeping the good people safe. Given those of us who want to help information to put the bad guys behind bars. I've killed people in the line of duty. Not happy about it, but it happened. It's something that changes you. It's something no one should go through, but I'm just one man, and Mr. C might be more powerful than I am. He might be all this, but I don't think he's someone who would do that lightly. It's a tragedy, but I don't think any of us live in exactly the world we want to live in. And that is Marty Sloan.
Who else we got?
Also,
We
you can
got
also-
Dr. Iota.
You have Iota. You can also choose to speak yourself and make your own argument, or you can call her up now.
I feel like we can have Iota go up. I was planning Iota for more that, like, the identity was going to have to come out. But I think she can work as a character witness as well.
I think Iota would be good now because if we can get everyone out of here too, then we can speak more plainly about Mr. C's identity, right?
Yeah.
True.
Because like that might become more relevant to the conversation. So getting everyone else that would know who he is out of here, who doesn't know who he is yet out of here, is probably good. I mean, who wants to call Iota up? I'd like to save it. I'd like to talk after Mr. C talks.
I'll call Iota up and ask her to speak about what she knows about Mr. C's character and general behavior.
Mm-hmm. So, she'll go up. Well, not what I was expecting to be called up for, but pretty good surprise. Not mad about that. Mr. C, give me a second. Ooh. Well, Mr. C's made a splash. I'm not exactly sure how wide his reach is, but I think that when people look back upon this time, they'll appreciate what Mr. C's done and what he sacrificed and everything that he stood for. Because right now, he's a man trying to do the best with what he can. And from everything I've seen today, it sounds like he wasn't really given a fair shake. And what can you really expect for someone if they come into a job not knowing what they need to do, not knowing the depth of the responsibility, but being forced to react to a terrible situation in only the best way they can? More to the point, Mr. C's helped people. He's protected people. Every time I've seen him, his first thought is keep innocents safe. And I think that's something that more groups, more people really ought to have. But more to the direct point, she's sort of going to look out at Terminal and especially the Boogeyman right now. This won't be the
Sorry,
first.
I zoned out for a sec. What'd you say?
She's looking out at Terminal and especially the Boogeyman right now, and just... This won't be the first. This won't be the last. There are quite a few people who, if they're allowed to continue operating as they are, will make things worse for everyone. And I think if you weigh the scales, while he may have taken a life, Mr. C saved far more lives that day. And that is the end of Iota's testimony. Here's your current card, and she's going to thank Mr. Station Master, briefly look around, and then head out.
Do we still have Mulquin in the court?
Yeah, Smogwood's just sitting there. Do you want to call up Malgwin as a character witness for Mr. C, or would you like to make your own statement?
I kind of am curious. I don't know about you guys.
I would like to make a motion to dismiss Mulquin.
Want to get rid of that good pupper?
Yes.
Pupper, yes. Good, not so much.
His charge has been addressed.
He remained because he could be a character witness if you wanted to call on him. If you would like to dismiss him, Mr. Station Master will accept.
I actually think he might be an okay character witness, honestly.
He probably would be in this circumstance because, fey morality.
Yeah, he doesn't have beef with Mr. C.
That's fair. Okay, fine. I'll defer to your guys' opinion. Do we want him to be a character witness?
I do. I think it'd be funny.
I don't think there's too much point in it.
Yeah, in character, I would not want to call him as a witness.
I would like to motion to dismiss him.
Yeah, probably not in character. I can't justify it in character.
That will be accepted by Mr. Station Master.
That means we're kind of just left with us. Right?
Yep.
And Satanic Shot, you're up first.
I think she's gonna kind of look at some of her notes that she has gathered, some of Foundry's notes as well, and then just kind of sigh for a second as she kind of reshuffles them and goes, "Listen, I don't know all the rules of kind of waves around to the courtroom of the station masters, Mr. Conductor's own job. But we can argue for a while on whether, on the morality of taking a life, of weighing the scales, and under what circumstances we think it's okay or justified to take a life. But at the end of the day, I don't think that particularly matters in this. Mr. Conductor has spent his time behaving in what he believes to be the best interest of everyone at any given time. And this one time, this one instance, in complete chaos, I don't think he made that choice. I don't think he behaved in that way. And I think he knows and would agree with me on that. That what he did was selfish, self-interested, but also most importantly, not reflective of the man he wants to be, of the man that he strives to be, the conductor he wants and strives to be. I think we've heard from enough witnesses, and everyone here has seen through enough examples, this is not how Mr. Conductor behaves 99% of the time. And I don't think he'd do it again in the future. So the question then falls to whether this is a big enough mistake to completely override everything else that he's done and all the potential he has to be. That's at least what I think.
A good argument. Please roll. I will be right back as dinner has arrived.
Okay, I will see what makes sense to roll, Nick.
Clearly, you've been given free reign.
Nick, let me roll whatever the fuck I want.
Clearly gun.
I mean, I would like to. Gun is my highest roll. The true question is whether or not I get to use sidekick here or not. I will have to wait to have that question answered. Actually, while we have time, who would want the baton next?
I'm back and I have curry.
Quick question, Nick. Have I made a good enough argument to use principle of sidekick here?
I think yes.
Hell yeah. I'm going to use intuition and persuasion for this because that makes the most logical sense in
Sounds
my
good to me.
mind. And we're on yellow. Hello, dice. That is a 7.
Mm-hmm. That is success number 4. We will start red.
Who wanted to go next?
I mean, do we just have Izzy go right into his speech, or does anyone speak first?
I think this seems like a decent time to send Izzy into his speech.
Unless we want to specifically end on that.
I want to react to it potentially.
Yeah, that's very
Okay.
fair. I'll pass the baton off to Mr. Conductor.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to just like look around, at the different brains, at the people who remain in the courtroom, which it looks like it's just us at this point.
Yep.
But like mostly I'm looking at the trains, and I'm like, look, I'm not going to deny my actions. Okay, I took a life, and I will have to live with that for the rest of my life. But my reasons, I honestly can only say the thing that was most important to me in my life had just been taken away from me. I'm only human. I'm a man who feels emotion, has passions, is driven, and that drive leads me to protect people. I want to make sure that innocent people are never harmed. I want to make sure that good people thrive and flourish. And my actions that day, I won't try to justify them. But all I can say is incredibly evil people who had taken advantage of others for so long, hurt innocents for so long.
Trouble applying validates.
They took something from me that I thought I could not get back. They killed the person who I love above all else. And in that fit of passion, I reacted. Again, it doesn't make me right, it doesn't make me a good person, I don't think it makes me a bad person. But what it does is it makes me human. And I think being human is what gives me a lot of my strength. Because I know there are, we are in the middle of bad times, but it also gives me the outlook that there's promise and hope for things to come. And I lost sight of that when the best thing in my life I thought was going to be taken from me. And it's only because I have the support of such a great team and such a great network of all of you, I'm going to say gesturing at the trains, that I am going to continue to try to be the best version of myself and not let this slip up happen again. And that's all I'm going to say, Nick.
Please roll.
I don't know what to roll. Awareness or intuition?
I think intuition and insight.
Intuition and insight, okay. That is a 2.
Ooh.
I'll take the major twist. Because of course I will.
Have you ever not taken the major twist?
Fuck that, it's the most fun part of this game.
Yep.
So that's a minor twist and a major twist that we know of with these complications.
So you do. So you do. But you are up to 5 successes of question mark needed. Who would like to go next?
There's what, 4 of us left?
Yeah.
Satanic Shot has already gone. But
And we have another round of red, technically.
technically.
I'd like to go last.
I think it is
That's
more
all right.
appropriate that all of you have at least one time to speak.
Right. I'd like
That's
to
fair.
speak last out of us, though.
One of the times, it's up to you.
I can go if no one else wants to go.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even sure what I want to say.
So, Mr. Conductor did kill something, is to kill someone. That's nothing we can argue. I will be honest that, while I don't like death, I'm not sure I fully understand why this is as big of an issue as it is, since my time frame is different than yours. However, I think the fact that he's this broken up about it and this concerned, especially about how it impacted the trains that he worked with on this, says a lot. I don't think I personally met many mortals that I knew that went into combat during wars and things that cared about that, or especially cared about how being used to help with killing would affect the soldiers. And I'm going to use principle of mortality for this.
I think that's completely reasonable.
We will. I think I have to use Fake Hat. I'm going to have the one assistant I have. That's still a +1 because I'm pretty sure a +4 is needed for this to be more than that.
That's correct.
man, I am really bad at this in this area, but that is still somehow a 9. I did better at this than Mr. C. I don't know how.
You get
I
to be
have
more logical
suspicions
about it.
as to why. Good Spirits has gone.
Mr. Conductor's gone too, right?
Yep.
It is just
Yes.
Foundry and Boogeyman left.
I'm making you
Boy,
go next.
okay.
I'm making you go before me, Dan. Sorry.
Uh,
I invoke train law for this.
give me a sec here.
Mm-hmm. Train law.
Man,
the
train
most
law has so
important
many
thing.
aspects to it that I didn't realize.
I think what this unfortunate incident demonstrates, in part, is that Mr. Conductor is a deeply caring person. Sometimes to his detriment, it would seem. But he has shown incredible loyalty to those around him. And that loyalty, most often, is a willingness to go to bat for them, to defend them, to help them be better. And while that had an unfortunate outcome in this case, I don't think it is something that we need to discourage, nor do I think is it something that would have a similar result again. I believe in Mr. Conductor.
All right. Give me the roll.
Damn it!
Too slow.
Too
All right.
slow, is he?
I guess I'll put my other +2 into this. And don't really have a power for this.
That sounded.
So with Defender, that's a 10.
Solid success. Boogeyman.
I'm reasonably sure I won't be able to use a principal on this one. I don't think either of my principles work for this. All right. I'm addressing the trains for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I ain't gonna be super eloquent about this, all right? I ain't no speech maker or anything like that. And I'm gonna be honest. I point at Conductor. This guy has been a pain in my ass. He's uptight. He sticks to the rules like they're going out of fashion. And I've never known anyone who does the right thing more often than this guy, even when it hurts him, personally. As much of a pain as it is to deal with his schedule and his rules, I don't think I've personally, in my life or my last one, I've known anyone to be as good a person as he is. I've never seen anyone be as selfless and believe in goodness in people, like Mr. Conductor has. And I've seen a lot of good people fall under pressure. I've seen a lot of people who consider themselves nice and moral, upstanding people fold and cave way to situations a tenth, a hundredth as severe as what Mr. C was put through. So if he's not allowed to have one mistake, if he's not allowed to lose it for 1 second and not be condemned for it, what fucking hope is there for any of humankind, huh? Treat him as well as he treats you, all right? He cares about you a lot. Hope you show that to him in return. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna do intuition.
Mr. Conductor's a little like teary-eyed after that. He's like, "Wow, hit him right here."
See if you can change.
Can I? Geez, can I? I don't even know what quality I can justify for that speech I just gave. Am I imposing the trains? Am I trying to intimidate them?
No, you are not.
I think I'm just gonna roll that on train then.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you got to do.
I will take intuition for the power though.
Oh, absolutely intuition.
I'll take the major the major twist. Actually, hold on. No. Nick, can I use two collection abilities in the same thing?
Yeah.
+2 because I'm in red, and then I negate the minor twist.
Well, all right then.
1 success.
Fascinating. And that the trains toot a bunch and pull away. Mr. Station Master looks at all of you and just says, well,
Because we might want to do this in either 2 queries, one where we can find
we know what
where
result has been
user
overruled.
ID equals the one from validate session.
It will now be down to the
And
trains.
so forth with actually deleting it.
The whistle floats back to Mr. Conductor.
ID and delete.
Okay, I will reach out and my fingers will just like gingerly wrap around it and I'll pull it close to me and I'll look up at him and say, "Thank you."
There are things we will discuss, but I must speak with the trains. All of the trains, and that will take some time. And you are all free to go. For Mr. Conductor is keeping the whistle. What are you going to do?
Well,
Am I
Like-
required? Am I required to stick around or?
Right now, no, as the trains are deliberating.
well,
Okay,
When are they going to reach a conclusion?
instead of find by ID and delete, maybe we can do a find one and delete.
Hopefully
Like-
before the cat has to go to his office job.
I mean,
So
Yeah.
the rest of us have to go to our office job.
Well,
I mean, I
I
think
could
that
use
happens.
help getting out of this office job thing.
so that
before
is what
Brain
you're
had
going to
office
resolve
job.
right now while I text Izzy a little bit.
You just want to pull me into a private thing?
Yeah, I'll pull you into a private thing briefly.
Okay.
All right.
But-
Well,
We
Okay.
basically need to.
Hello, Izzy.
Hello. All right, I figured it was going to come down to those two.
Oh no, that was what I was expecting it to come down to, but I was surprised it was actually tied.
Well, the major twists and minor twists push it in either direction.
I was adding them up as they showed up, based off what people were arguing.
Okay. So this is rough, because those are both what I was expecting. I didn't actually think it was going to come down to it. So, you know what? Should I leave it up to fate?
If you want to flip a coin and tell me what the result is, I will let you do that. I'm mostly asking which will be better for you in terms of roleplay and continuing in the game for the sessions that remain.
How much longer is game, I think, is the ultimate question there.
Likely between 4 and 7 sessions. I'm not sure how many.
Oh, decisions. Let me roll the coin.
If you want to, I will let you save it to announce until the end of session or beginning of next session.
You know what? Let's save it for end of session. Let's discuss about it over the week. But for now, let's say at the very least, Mr. Conductor gets this time with the party.
Yeah, but no. This session you're getting with the party no matter what.
Okay. You can save the announcement for everybody else next week.
Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Let's move back then.
Yep.
Wait.
Why don't we just get the contract while you're still Lord of Death or whatever?
Yeah, can't we just
And
steal, let's just steal the
no,
contract.
we get the contract while you're still Lord of Death and convince the red tape that, hey, since we have it, you can't do shit. And then she probably won't try and call on the Reaper again, unless she knows that for a fact.
Does she know
We
that
won't
you're
be
gonna...
able to use it, but we could try and take advantage of her thoughts there. I think if we could get her to accidentally release Gwen from contract, that would be the best thing, because if she stated that it's null and void or it's fulfilled, then that then is done, and we don't have to worry about her deciding maybe I'll try talking to Gwen later.
I mean, can we convince her the contract's fulfilled? Can we technically fulfill the contract per her satisfaction while you're still, Gwen?
Potentially, but
Wait, also,
shrug.
important question. If she called you, if she dismissed you for the night, how is that different from fully relinquishing you? Couldn't you just use fey avoiding or something like that?
Gwen's pretty. The former Gwen is very particular in his contract writing, and the fact that this is that the contract basically gives continued service, the fact that it is a temporary dismissal with the note of what my hours to return are, means that that is fine. We'd have to trick her to be less precise in her wording so we can take advantage of the preciseness of the contract's wordings.
I don't know. She seems like a pretty uptight broad about that type of thing.
Yeah, the problem with this is that both her and the one that wrote the contract are very, very precise in what they write.
I mean, again, then why don't we just get the contract back?
Yeah.
That seems like the
That,
easiest solution here.
if can get it, that would be helpful. The problem and that can definitely work. It would free me, but the problem is when Gwen decides to honor it after.
Hey, wait a second. Doesn't it only fall to her because she has the contract? She's not the original person who held the contract, right?
I mean, it's to her family line.
Yeah, so
Oh.
specifically, it's a contract to the descendants of X.
Oh,
So
now
theoretically, if find a different descendant,
yeah, that's what you're you're speaking my language,
if you
Tom.
get the contract and you get a different descendant,
So stealing the contract and then waiting and then spending the rest of the time to find a different descendant seems like our best
Well,
bet
what
for
if I mean, what do we know about the red tape, really?
Not much.
We really don't.
not a lot. I can try and gather some more information while you guys do that. She does very much want. The thing that
Like,
she finds with Gwen of what she wants is the ability to make ability for contracts like this.
yeah, but does she even does she have any family? Do we even know her name?
Currently, no.
I could try seeing what I could dig up at the press conference later.
Or
Flash.
or here's a question. Can we call on the real Gwyn for a favor? Even when he's swapped
How
names with you.
many favors
Yeah,
does the
yes,
Reaper
we
owe
already
you
went over that.
people?
The guy,
Oh,
he
he owed
would.
us a total of 7. It was part of the contract we made.
Why?
I don't know. We got good negotiation skills.
Why does the Reaper keep making deals with people? Isn't
It was
death supposed to be like a final thing?
Red. I don't know if you've met me anytime soon, but
Oh
feel
yes,
like
I've met you, but given by how you talk about how you're on borrowed time and all of that, you seems like a very it's an exception and also one that you've made peace with or whatever.
look, Red. I barely understand how any of this works either. All right, I'm just trying to use it to my advantage.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. How did you get deals with the why did that happen?
It was part of the. It was part of our negotiation when we negotiated my 3-year Revenge of Dead contract.
Wait, why did you need to renegotiate that?
Oh,
Doesn't
Because he
the
was trying to
current
come get the soul. He was trying
yeah,
to
because
come
he
get
was
the soul.
but
he was gonna
the
take me
cat
right then
owns
and
your
there.
soul.
Kind of. It's complicated.
Yeah, but Tagarum doesn't. While current Tagarum former Gwen will admit that yes, that is my right. He doesn't particularly like it, and I also used a bit of his power to do so.
Yeah, kind of. Tom here kind of took something that didn't belong to him as I fiddle with the coin.
I was slighted, and thus it was allowed.
Right, but he didn't really see it that way. So yeah, again, we kind of had to negotiate it. So he was going to take me in 3 years rather than right then and there.
Okay, but how did that end up with 6, 7 favors?
Like I said, Tom's a good negotiator. I think it was just Sean, you doing that got us 7 favors, right?
And Shaq just looks at you all, and in her mind,
Some of it was convincing when the deal that Good Spirits was giving him was in fact an important deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some stuff with that. There was some stuff with the fact of a fact that I agreed to finally take responsibility for things, which
Yep, that did happen.
yeah.
I mean, how many of those have we used so far? 3?
I think 3.
I know I cashed in 1. Sorry, guys.
I believe you have cashed in 3, yes.
so
Yeah.
how many favors do you guys have left?
I believe we have
4.
4 left.
I mean, I called in 1 to save my wife's life.
I called in 1 to confirm who murdered my wife.
Thought someone else called 1.
There was 1 more used. I just don't remember what it was. I know we used another one.
Hold on,
Oh, for us to figure out. Wait, didn't we use one to call on to get the train to hell, or no?
Yeah,
Oh, yes, you called him for that.
You
Yeah,
called him
that's
to find me.
Because I yelled out good spirits.
I mean,
Yep.
another thing. Look, if we wanted to cash in another favor, if he is allowed to, if he'll accept favors right now with his current name,
He will, because, as said, he is very honorable about all that.
we could use him to tell us more about the red tape. If he knows, I know, like we got to be particular with his purviews, but I'm pretty sure he probably knows some things about a person that owns a contract that can bind him. He probably knows stuff about people and lineages because he has to track people he needs to take to the afterlife, right?
Wavy paw.
Look,
Yes and no. Like, there's stuff that matters with this, but there's...
Remember, right now, he is also Lord of Chicago and in many ways more competent than Good Spirits.
I say we tell. Why don't we use a favor and see what he'll tell us about her, and let's learn about the red tape, huh?
If everyone else is up for it.
I don't think I get a vote.
We're still in the train tribunal. I'm just going to turn and talk to him. He's right
No,
back
he
No,
there.
left.
he got dismissed.
Was he dismissed? I thought he stayed.
No,
He was
all of
dismissed.
everyone besides your personal character witnesses got dismissed, and when they stated things, they got dismissed.
We could call upon him again. We do know how to do that.
Let's do it.
But we might. Do we want to do that here or back when we get
The
to?
only thing we have left is update.
Probably back in the mortal realm. I feel like it's a little rude to call him back right to the station again.
I'd also say one of the people to go to potentially for information on all of this would be Iota.
All right. Why don't we?
Iota is a very good source of information.
Why don't we?
Iota's information has complications.
Yep, it has a risk associated with it, but
You guys are aware that I work at the Tribune, right?
oh yeah, so maybe you can just look up what her family's like.
Tell you what. How about this? It's just about morning. You just got to. You're about to be on shift, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Why don't we take and let's meet again back at the bar in 12 hours. We gather what we can. If we don't think we have enough, we call Tabrin, Grin, whatever there. Deal?
Reaper.
We call the Reaper there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see what we can do in the next 12 hours then.
Oh wait, sorry. When are we meeting up tonight?
I don't know, after work. Why?
That doesn't work for me. I've got plans.
All right. Can you meet up later then?
Potentially, I'll have to. I can meet up at 10 probably.
Can you just call and tell us if you learned anything, Red?
Yes, I can do that.
If you can't make it, at least just give the bar a call, all right?
Yeah, that I can do that. So long as you're not asking me to track down cats to talk to.
Here's the phone number. Don't walk into an alley and talk to the calico.
Everyone hates my methods for some reason.
To be fair, I also don't like Mr. Conductor's method. Foundry has a fantastic method.
I handed you a phone number too.
Only after Foundry did. I said shooting a portal, tipping my hat, leaving.
All right, so I guess we head back to the mortal realm.
Yep. So what we're gonna
I do want to real quick. I do want to say as a final thing before we leave, just as I pass a satanic shot, I'm like, hope it's a hot date, and I smile ruefully before I walk off. I don't know if I'm correct. I'm just going with that.
Blink.
Okay, sorry, Nick. Continue.
So how I'm going to resolve the current bit of problems is you guys get another short tracker to represent basically green is a day, yellow is a day, red is you desperately panicking before good spirits is no longer Gwyn.
Well, I mean, this is our first day, and we're gonna see what we can learn there, and we'll see what happens at the bar.
Exactly. Which is to say, it sounds like Ruth is going last today.
Yes, yes, she is.
I am unsure what to do here, actually. I feel like I'm in the position least able to gather information. Oh,
Well,
actually, no, no,
I was going to say, you have more than one person you might want to gather information on.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. I need to find out what happened to Felix. I need to, in a broader sense, see what is the state of the criminal underworld right now.
Yep. Boy, do you.
So, can I go first?
Fine by me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right.
I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna be doing.
All right. I'm gonna dig up some dirt then. We're in green.
You're in green.
All right. No, I can't justify that. I think I'll use my final +1 for the session. And I at least get to use my principle of the underworld, because I'm literally digging up information on the underworld.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go. Can I, instead of criminal underworld info, use stealth for this, because I'm deliberately trying to make it not obvious that I am gathering info, because as far as the criminal underworld knows, I'm dead, and I'd like it to stay that way for a short time.
Yes.
So I'm going to actually roll invisibility and stealth for this one as I gather information.
I like it.
There we go. That's a 9.
9 is pretty solid. So I'm assuming you're mostly focused on what I think is obvious you're focused on.
I mean, yes, but I do want to know the general state of things, like where do things stand with the gang war, and more specifically, what are the Italians doing, and what has happened to Felix?
So, Felix is currently in a mafia hospital.
Okay, no getting to him there then without starting a war.
Exactly. Like, he's pretty fucked up. He's real hurt, but he's there. Ferrano's grandson is the one that seems poised to take over, but they're still in a lot of chaos right now.
Interesting. So fucking up Felix did actually set him back.
Yes.
Whereas if he was in good health, he probably could have made the power play he wanted to.
Yep.
Okay.
Oof on the Irish, their regular guys are pushing forward and taking some territory, but Siren hasn't really been seen in the past day.
I mean, she got her victory. She might be going home.
Yeah, like she's been busy with something. No one really knows what's up with what she's doing. The Italians are definitely hurting. A bunch of them want to strike back. A lot of them are pissed at Terminal in particular.
Of course. I mean, they've only got was it? Do I know hear anything about Antonini either? He's the last powered person they have that's like.
Oh no, Bazooka's still there. Bazooka's back up, and he's calling to go after Terminal hard.
Hold on, Bazooka didn't die?
Let me double check. Wait.
I thought Bazooka got killed. Didn't Bazooka get killed?
Yeah, I thought Bazooka was
dead.
dead.
Never mind. You're right. Never mind. You're right. I forgot. Sorry, no, not Bazooka. No, sorry. Felix's wife is calling for going after Terminal hard.
Ah, there we go. That makes more sense.
Yep. So Theodore is calling for that.
And but there's no word on Antonini.
He's in custody.
Right, he got arrested.
Yeah.
Is he still in custody?
He's still in custody a day later.
Huh. Okay. All right, so it doesn't sound like the Italians can do anything right now, at least immediately.
Immediately, no. It's a question of whether Theodora does something herself.
Yeah, but like, I mean, honestly, how much of a position of power is she in?
Well, here's the thing. Her husband's the concierge, and he's in the hospital.
Is she speaking as the concierge then?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know anything about this woman still, so this could be a problem.
Yep.
All right. Still, she doesn't have any muscle behind her other than herself.
There are a bunch of no. Jimmy's guys are calling for blood.
Right. What I mean is, I think they lost all their metas. Like, it sounds like they lost most of the supers in this situation.
Yep.
At least that we know about. Because Jimmy's
That
dead,
they did.
Jimmy's dead, Bazooka's dead, Antonini's in custody, Felix is laid up. Ferrano is dead.
Yep. No, they are not in a good spot, but she's calling for blood to strike back at the people who messed them up before they can recover.
Okay, we may need to fortify the bar.
Something like
Do they-
that.
Do they know we're here?
The Irish did.
Remember, Felix
It's a little
knows
of an
who
open
you
secret.
are, Lex.
What?
Felix recognized you.
Yeah, I know.
Do you think he didn't tell her?
Of course he told her.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but does he recognize that Nico is Rocco?
I just want to double check.
That actually is a good question. I don't think I ever used my name around
It
him.
just says, as long as everything's.
You're not
completed.
sure right now.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, that's definitely my full turn of investigating. Anything further would have to be a different action.
Yep.
I mean, I think on that note, who else has something they want to do immediately?
I can't really think of anything.
I mean, if I realize this information, I think I would actually ask something of you, Dan.
Okay.
I think I'd ask you to find a way to, like, if you can, find a way to, like, use that device know-how of yours to protect the bar a little bit, or at least set up an early warning system.
Yeah, can do that.
All right, I'm going to pass to you then with that in mind.
All right. So can I would imagine Principle of Defender works for this.
Absolutely.
Defend the bar.
All right. Let's go with inventions and creativity. It seems appropriate.
Yep.
Okay, so 7. I guess
Believe that is
we'll,
success with a minor twist.
Yep, I guess we'll see what that twist is.
So you will. You did get a success though. So Foundry is upgrading the bar, reinforcing the windows, reinforcing the bar, making the door harder to kick in. Setting up some mics, watching for people. Who is next? Good Spirits or Mr. C?
I don't know what I would be doing right now.
In terms of having something.
Like
I mean, trying to figure out information and what the best time and place to steal the contract would be.
I mean, also just talking to the train trains makes sense, Mr. Conductor.
I think
you should have an emotion. I think you should have an emotional scene with your wife and child.
Is my wife still out?
She is in and out of consciousness right now.
Okay. I will do that in a few minutes because my class is wrapping up. I'm making sure people don't have questions, so I'll be back in a few minutes.
Why doesn't Sean go next then?
That
Okay,
sounds like Good Spirits
so-
goes.
I am going to be continuing on with kind of fulfilling the oath, but also kind of trying to be a little bit disruptive and get them to give information out in turn, and kind of we'll be going over like the various things and the stuff on how you mess with the contract and cause problems, but kind of circling back of the okay, now you're trying to pay attention to too many things.
Sounds good. Give me an
So
overcome.
I'm going to be doing Principle of Chaos.
Yep.
Let's see. You know what? I'm spending the +3 that is fuck the law.
Yep, that's legit.
No order, no laws, no masters, only chaos.
So
That is what he's playing.
that with the +3 is a 9,
So the
which
big
is a complete
thing
success.
that City Hall is still doing is trying to figure out the contract magic, trying to get good spirits to draw up contracts that are reasonable, that two human parties may sign and then be bound by the contract. Good Spirits is very, very good at putting in loopholes for this, so it takes multiple hours for them to get something that works through all of his loopholes. But the big thing right now that you can realize the red tape wants is basically contract blanks that will make someone obey the law and potential ones that will make them obey her.
That's not great.
No, I'll kind of. I definitely would be pushing against the just having generic blank contract to be filled in later is going to be one of those things that this will screw you over more often than not. I think I will be upfront about on that.
Because I
I
explain.
mean, that's Death Note level stuff right there.
Oh no, she's
What?
just like, explain. How is obeying the law of Chicago and the Chicago, Illinois, and the United States government going to cause a problem?
Because there's a lot of small. Have you heard of malicious compliance, or have you looked through all of the laws on the book?
You
I
raise
want-
a fair point, and how about obedience to the superior officer who can properly distinguish these?
How do you deal with if someone abuses authority? If they can never disobey the figure above them, how do you deal with if the person above them abuses that power?
I would not abuse this power. You'll have to try harder.
You don't think you will, but what about other people that would end up in your position then?
The
You should
point of
tell
these
her that.
contracts. She
You
was
should
just
know
saying
that under Illinois state law, all bachelors must be called master by their female counterparts.
You know, with Principle of Chaos, can I breathe that up?
You can, and she would sit there and fume slightly, and then that is an acceptable sacrifice if it gets murderers off the streets.
Hey, man.
I can understand with wanting to get I can understand not wanting murder around, but do you want to be controlling and dictating every action?
I would wish for them to obey the law, and when there is a conflict or a foolish law, defer to their chain of authority.
Okay, I am going to spend the rest of the day asking clarifying questions for every statement, and the thing of just like any time I am given ambiguity on anything, following up with, nope, this needs to go all the way to the top to red tape.
Yep. They're like,
Amazing.
this delays it a bit.
Honestly, good for him.
This delays it a bit as she increasingly adds sub-clauses to this contract to attempt to make people be moral.
Time to start asking a lot of dumb moral quandaries next, then.
Oh, absolutely. It's just she's going to have answers for a lot of them.
Trolley problem.
It's really unfortunate that like the core argument of laws must be evaluated for their ability to oppress just would not work on her at all.
No, not
Yep.
in the slightest.
But I'm going to continue, and you know what? There are other people in the room.
That's true.
And
There are
so, of the other people in the room, the three of them are basically all behind the idea of we should actually enforce laws such that people are moral and act in good character and help their fellow citizens.
side
Yeah,
note.
and
These
I am going to keep poking as many flaws in anything they put over, and the ways that this can get abused by someone on either end of the spectrum, and the various quandaries of, hey, so what do you do in this case?
these people don't want to be police officers. They want to be philosophers.
Do they
From-
though?
So, from what Good Spirits gets, no, Discipline wants to be a police officer, 100%. Order and Justice more want to be philosophers and roughly agree with the Red Tape's philosophy, but Good Spirits can find some wedges between them. Man, if only you could talk to Harmony right now.
Would be so interesting.
Speaking of which, is he free?
No, yeah, but the rough thing that you get from day one is basically Discipline and the Red Tape are very aligned, though Discipline is much more about punish the offenders than the Red Tape is. She's much more about make sure there is control and this doesn't happen again. Order cares much more about the idea that things are legible. Like, that everyone understands what they're getting into. She has some... When you bring up some really stupid laws, she goes, maybe we should repeal those laws. We use these contracts to repeal those laws. And Justice basically goes, an important part is actual fairness. We cannot just enforce everything on everyone.
Does not sound like she has a lot of respect for the lawmaking process.
I mean, it's 1925 Chicago. Does anyone have respect for the lawmaking process? Like, one of the things that Good Spirits definitely gets is none of the Red Tape or the administrators really has high respect for City Hall and the local Congress.
Then they're effectively just making up their own laws.
Yes.
Lovely.
You guys wondered what the thing was that would turn her into something you have to fight.
Yeah.
Oh, so many problems.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Ain't it always?
It sounds like it's Mr. C's busy time, so it is probably in the evening where Ruth is quite busy.
Oh, can Ruth not do investigation beforehand?
She can. It's a question of does she want to where does she want to focus efforts?
Oh, no, that's fair. You're making the correct decision. Thank you.
Ruth phones it in during day job today.
I mean, she caused a press clusterfuck. I feel like the midnight beforehand caused a press clusterfuck. Today is the day to phone it in.
It absolutely is. Ruth went, I did my job. You have all your headlines. I'm going to vaguely write something for page 4.
There we go.
So I suppose the first question, where does Ruth ask to meet?
She said that she was picking. Allie said that she was picking a place. She knew a place for coffee
That is true.
at 6 p.m.
Yep.
I presumed I was given an address.
Probably towards the end of the day, Ruth is told to dress to her finest and show up at, boy, is this an expensive, definitely not speakeasy.
Oh, yay, good, my favorite.
For coffee.
For
and
coffee.
nothing else.
6 p.m. coffee date. That's a normal thing.
Yep. Coffee date where Ruth stares at the, menu and goes, oh no.
Oh.
This is 2 weeks salary. What is going on?
Yeah. Sounds about right. She is definitely wearing the same outfit that she wore last time because when we snuck into the fancy Italian restaurant, because no, there's no way she owns anything nicer than that.
Yep, and she sums up, and Allie definitely has a completely different way to expensive dress.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. Thank you for coming right on time.
Punctuality is preferred in my profession for obvious reasons.
Oh, I assume so. Thank you for coming back, Miss Lives. Please, order whatever you'd like.
I actually, do you have anything that you'd recommend off the menu? I assume you've been here before, you've gave such a glowing recommendation last time.
Once or twice, and Ruth probably gets the, oh, that is a different language you're ordering in.
Of course, of course.
Like, now, you're a very, well, both of us are very, I'd say, unusual women in the times.
That'd be fair. Fair assessment.
And it's always lovely to meet a kindred spirit in quite a few regards. I'll be honest, I was surprised to see you at, that establishment before.
In all honesty, I don't really... I tend to get the less glamorous, more adrenaline pumping jobs. But every so often there are occasional perks to the job.
I like to think of such things as the more invigorating jobs.
Sorry, Nick, can you repeat that? The mic
She's
cut
the-
out on my end.
Oh, I'd like to think of those as the more invigorating jobs I've had.
Yeah, I imagine that's not how, your typical jobs go.
There was more blood than I'd like. A fair bit of it.
Really? You kept such a cool head.
Oh, why thank you. It's not the first time I've seen it, but I don't exactly... It's distasteful. I would much rather everything be simple. Exciting, but simple and not worrying.
That's fair. I mean, thought would put me out of a job. I can't really argue with that sentiment.
Just, Ruth, do you find danger exciting?
A little. But I don't really go off without preparations. But every member of the press is a bit of a adrenaline junkie. Otherwise, they don't stay members of the press for long.
Well, then she's just going to lean in super close to Ruth and look straight at her as, tell me, do you want to do something fun tonight?
Leans in close as well. What exactly did you have in mind?
Wait till after coffee and I'll show you.
I don't think Ruth's coming back to the bar tonight.
Nope.
Now, to be clear, does Ruth go along with Allie's plan?
I mean, probably, unless it, directly goes against her moral code.
Allie's plan is 100% pulling off their bill on some chump who finds her pretty, duck out the bathroom window, and go break into a museum to show Ruth really pretty art. Up close.
What's a
This
little
is bad.
What's a little crime between friends?
Okay, here's the thing. The only disturbing part is the first part. I think Ruth would try and steer Allie at least towards someone who looks like associated with the mob or mafia for the first half, and otherwise, yes, no, she's going for a full disaster lesbian for this.
Hooray!
Everybody wins.
Yep.
Do you at least call about any information you found out?
Ruth didn't today, I'm so sorry. You're
That
gonna
is
get a
what you-
call tomorrow morning extremely early with all the information she did just an hour beforehand, for the record.
So
Well,
the thing
I
that
guess
Ruth will get is, you can give me a question, is Allie has been involved in like every criminal enterprise, just randomly robbing people.
That's
Well-
fantastic news to know.
I guess we're summoning the Reaper tonight, guys.
Like, she is very willing to feed Ruth information about her criminal exploits. And how did you acquire that necklace? Well, you see, there was this Irish gangster, and when he wasn't paying attention.
This is fantastic. For the record, are we able to find a mob or mafia associated mark for the first part of her plan?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because otherwise, Ruth was not going to be eating for the month.
No, like Allie is very much as Ruth goes out with her, goes, no, someone else pays for everything I do. She's like, don't worry, I'll handle paying for the date with that person's wallet.
I love her. Yeah, I suppose I would ask for like interesting stories that she kind of steered to, but also I would really want to know if she has any information on Antonini.
That man is a mystery even to me, and honestly, I avoid him and anything about him whenever possible.
That's very fair. From what I saw from the last kind of giant kerfuffle was he's not a talkative person.
Wait, yeah. Although she will share a lot with Ruth about before some meddling heroes that are now named Terminal interfered. Did you hear about how much fun several parties were?
No.
Oh, well, there was this spirit that enhanced the pleasure of everyone present.
Wasn't this like our first adventure?
Yes, it was.
It was your second.
Out of character, yes, it was.
It was your second, and she totally abused the fact, like, oh, everyone is super into everything going on. I will both enjoy myself and rob them blind. Which is like, it's really a shame. I would love to show you how much fun that could be.
I'm sure you got other ideas from that. It just a sniffy.
Well, it probably drags Ruth up to far too high in a building where, like, you're an apartment, you're not really sure whether or not she owns it, but it probably doesn't matter at that point.
So what?
Things you can do when you have mind control powers.
Mm.
Like, that is one that Ruth will definitely get, is no, Allie is absolutely abusing her mind control powers to get as much excitement and money as she can.
You think I didn't get that from the first part of this day?
Well, Ashley assumed got it, but we don't know if Ruth got
Okay, no, that's very fair. That's
yes,
very
no, I
fair.
assumed you, Ash, knew. Ruth probably goes, wait a minute, did you just mind control the bellhop and the elevator guy and some random person in the hallway?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
She hasn't hit Ruth herself.
Are you
I
sure?
think Ruth is going to be more kind of confused by that, but also kind of just being like, I'm trying to understand her mindset at the same time. I am being a disaster lesbian.
Woo!
Yep. Give me an overcome.
Yeah,
Oh,
disaster.
sure.
Disaster lesbians.
What am I trying to overcome here? So I know what to roll.
Intuition is part of it.
Yeah, that's fair. I have no idea what quality I should roll.
Self-discipline.
There are two wolves inside of you. They're both disaster lesbians.
Closest skill I have to that is Hero Journalist.
Yeah, Hero Journalist works.
And then green, and I am going to use my +1 hot date that I banked forever ago.
Yep.
Just on the principle.
It was important to prepare for this.
Yeah, because I'm not. I can't justify using any of my principles. So +1, we'll see how bad I roll.
Pretty
Okay,
good.
that is a 6.
Success
That
with
is
a-
pretty good.
Success with a minor twist. So, for one question, the main thing you get from Allie is the big thing is that she, with rare exceptions, basically believes deep down that everyone is out to screw over everyone else and she wants to be on top.
Hmm.
Wonder what her opinion of us is then.
Very confused. Like,
I mean, she probably thinks that deep down we have some angle.
Like, she thinks you have some angle and she can't figure out what Terminal's angle is and it frustrates her.
Yeah, because we kind of let her go every time, don't we?
Yeah, she's basically, they have some angle, I can't figure it out. And that's bad.
What does she think George's angle is?
Look, again, she can't figure out George's angle and that's bad.
I mean, George could be George could be one of the people she thinks might actually be good.
You know what? Actually, with his success, she thinks he probably doesn't have an angle, which means he's simultaneously a saint and a chump.
Okay, I was waiting for the chump call.
There we go.
There.
But
he's such a dad.
Allie lives in a world where everyone either has an angle or is a chump. And she wants to be the person with the most angles, taking advantage of the most chumps because she never wants to be a chump again.
That's consistent.
But
what an interesting character.
What?
What an interesting character.
But from your success, random information would, like, Ruth ask her as a question that she inadvertently gives out.
I would definitely poke her. About, so what was the angle then with getting everybody out of the restaurant? You didn't have to take all those people.
Look, I'm famous, I'm a singer, it looks good, blood isn't great, I just don't... Look, there's people that weren't involved. They didn't know what they were getting into, and if you don't know what you're getting into, why are you there? And someone should get you out of it before problems happen.
Oh, she does care.
She does care. Ever so slightly.
She is vaguely aware and, like, will not admit that mostly that innocents actually exist.
But she does believe that.
If you ask her again in the morning, she'll deny it.
Oh, definitely.
But, like,
so,
in the moment, she will acknowledge there are people who, like, shouldn't be involved in this and you should just go live happy lives without having to care like grandma.
Like grandma.
And yeah, Ruth basically gets his... She's especially harsh because she doesn't want any of her family to notice any of the problems.
Yeah.
Like, very much one of us is going to be the black sheep and doing problems, and someone has to, and it might as well be me because I can take it and they can't.
I'm only quiet because I am writing down literally every word you're saying. I'm so sorry.
It's legit.
This is important to me.
And like, Ruth will come back somewhat distracted in the morning to report on the night's events, but Mr. C still has something to do.
Are we going through all 4 stages, or was this just a one and done kind of scene tracker?
Kind of a one that I want to give you guys the chance to actually go through things this session, though we are getting close to the end of session by timing.
Okay, do you mind if I ask that question now then, Nick? Because I think that's going to affect...
Go for it.
Okay. So, this is Izzy asking players a question.
Yep.
So I know the results of the train tribunal, which have not been shared yet. And Nick was leaving it to me. And story-wise, I like both options. And I'd like to put it to the floor to see what everybody thinks. Okay?
Okay.
Reasonable.
Okay, so on one hand, I have been found justified in my actions, and I have been acquitted of all charges. So things continue on as per normal. Okay?
Okay.
Very straightforward and sound. The second option is because of the arguments that have been made, and there need to actual have change in the magic train yard, so there is no longer abuse in it. Would require George Trainlin to become Mr. Conductor full time, which means I'm not going to be bound within Chicago city limits or necessarily even on Earth anymore. I don't even know if that means my character will be mortal at that point. And I think the question is this the end point for Mr. Conductor as far as his story goes? Did he have his arc, or is there more for it? And that's
actually
the
have
question.
I have a better idea how to resolve that. Ask your wife.
I wanted to poll the party because that's going to determine how I have the scene.
Yeah, this is sort of from what everyone else's take on things is, it can go either way right now. I was counting up people's arguments and where they went.
I think no matter what, I think Mr. Conductor should finish out the story with us, even if it means afterwards his life cannot go back to normal.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
yeah.
So like in the same way that I may not come back after this story, I think the same might apply to Mr. C. Like if you take up that position, that is an epilogue thing, and I think that definitely should be played as an epilogue. But I think until this story concludes, you're with us, whatever form that may take.
Yeah, unless for reasons you do want to switch from playing Mr. Conductor to something else, in which case I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
So I actually told Nick this last week because I was aware that me being Mr. Conductor could potentially have been taken away from me during that train tribunal. I have made, I had a couple of ideas floating around as to backup characters I could play. I will not say who they are to sway the vote, but they are already relevant to the story. That is all I will say on that front. I am not.
No, I want Mr. C to stick out the story. I'm going to be honest with that.
Yeah, that'd be my preference as well.
Yeah, I'm on with Wex on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all on the same train with this one.
I think it makes most sense for sticking out and the consequences and moving on and trying to be better after that mess up makes more sense, and also think that your character serves an important part on the team.
Yeah.
But like if you specifically want to be switching to a different character, then go for it. Do not if you would rather be playing something else, because do not want game to not be fun for you.
Oh no, game is awesome and fun for me. I will actually tell you off stream who my ideas were to play, but that's a later thing. So Nick, I will have that scene now because I believe since my identity has been revealed, I am going to be on like a wanted watch list. At this
100%.
Yeah, so I can't have a
There's
long.
a slight chance we'll be able to avoid that, but yeah.
I mean, they will never be able to catch me if I know, because I know where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Nick. So after everything, I'm just going to view the map of Chicago in my mind's eye, looking probably on the back of Thomas, thanking him for all the help he did, even though he Out of character, he didn't get to be a witness for me.
You guys never called him.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot he was on the list.
I didn't forget. I was just busy doing other things tonight. But in any case, I'm going to thank Thomas for all of his help and support. And when I know that like the hospital room is mostly empty, I'm going to go in there because she already is going to. At this point, if the red tape hasn't told her who I am, I'm sure one of the other administrators have in her bouts of awakeness.
Yep.
So, and it's not going to be Mr. Conductor that, is going to appear in her room. It's just going to be George.
And George is going to have a little while with her just being asleep.
Yep, and he'll just sit there until she wakes up.
Eventually, Islands will fall just... George?
Hi,
George,
Stacy.
is that you?
I'm here. How do you feel?
Everything hurts, but... George, you can't be here. They're gonna try and find you.
Being here with you is more important. They can't keep me away. They couldn't try to stop me if they wanted to. I'll, look her in her eyes, hold her hand, and I'll just be like, are you feeling any better? Actually, I say that knowing full well she probably doesn't, because it's been, 24 hours?
Yeah, she's going to like a little.
Look, Stacy, I want you to know everything I've done. I just wanted to protect you, protect Carl, and try to protect all the good people of Chicago from anyone who would do it harm. And I know you've been doing the same thing. You just, well, we've been doing it in different ways, I guess.
She's going to inhale sharply, kind of flinch. Why didn't you? I
know. I wanted to tell you. Believe me.
George, I put another bandage on you after I shot you.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
Don't look. You were doing what you thought was right. I couldn't tell you who I was because there are rules to this position. And I know everything you've done was to protect the city and to make it a better place for me and for Carl. And I love you even more as a result because of that. And I want you to know everything I have done is for the exact same reasons. I want this city to, be the way it was when we first came here. Like, yeah, there were some bad spots, but overall, this was a good place. But, my eyes have been opened by my team, and you've seen it. There's people who are trying to, spread the darkness, make the shadows longer between the mafia, the mob, corruption in City Hall. And we're trying.
She's going to suck in her breath on that one, but let you continue.
Yeah. I'm just like, I just want the city to be a place where our children will always be able to, grow up and be happy and be safe. But as for how I got into this position and why, well, Honestly, I guess I was just in, depending on how you look at it, the right place at the right time or the wrong place at the wrong time. But it comes with responsibility. But that responsibility can also, well, it gives me ways to help make this city better. It gives me not only the responsibility I have as Mr. Conductor, but the responsibility to try to change Chicago for the better. And I'm just going to look at her and I'm going to ask, like, how did you meet with the red tape? How did all that start?
Well, it was sort of how you just described it. She's just going to kind of lean on you as much as you can without interfering with the machines.
Mm-hmm.
She was just working at City Hall, and she came in one day and looked over everyone there and picked me out and said that I had something more I could do. She gave me the choice. She said I didn't have to come, but Daisy's gonna focus for a bit. She's going to shake, and a little ball of white light's going to appear on her hand that she's gonna blow towards you, and some of George's aches and pains fade away.
Wait,
but not the ache in his heart.
yeah, that's probably only going to worsen. Going to look at her and just say, since when can you do that? You know, half smile.
I mean, she helped me figure it out. Well, more was the others, but I can't help myself. I can just help other people. I wanted to, when you came home hurt, I wanted to, but I was so afraid of you finding out, and
You never have to be afraid. We've always been a team. Even when it looks like we're on opposite teams, we're always a team.
yeah. No, George, I just, and this is probably about the point where someone knocks on the door and shouts, "Who's in there?"
Time to go.
Does it sound like an authority person or does it sound like a nurse? I'm assuming it sounds like a cop.
Yeah, it sounds like it is absolutely a cop from this one. It sounds like authority coming in because boy, does she have a security detail, even if they're trying to hide it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just look at her and say, I'll visit when I can. I promise. But for now, I'm just gonna stay low. Keep my head down. Give Carl a hug and kiss for me. But I promise I'll see you both soon.
Make sure Carl goes to school.
Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure he gets there. And with that, like, I'm just going to, pull out the whistle, blow it softly, and just jump on a train before the door opens, and they just see the place, undisturbed, outside of the loud train noise.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is interesting.
That was a really sweet scene.
Thank you. The other one I had working in my head was the goodbye scene, which I was not looking forward to.
Not no. Save that. Save that potentially for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys have a bit of time to discuss amongst yourselves in the evening, the twilight, the ass o'clock, and the early morning.
I mean,
And we will
I,
continue next
if
session.
are we not done yet? Are we done?
No, like you have some time left, but I want to try and keep to scheduling for Dan's sake.
Oh, well, I know the last thing I want to do tonight, especially if Ruth doesn't show up.
Ruth gets busy.
That's fine.
Ruth
I'll
will
take the-
maybe show up at like 4 or 5 a.m., I think.
Right.
I think
so,
4 a.m. sounds appropriate.
no, then you know who we got to call, guys.
Ghostbusters.
In a sense.
Gwen of the Green Death. Is that who you're?
No, Tagran, King of Cats.
Yeah,
Lord of
Tiger,
Chicago.
King of Cats, Prince of Chicago.
That's
I
exactly what we're
also
It's
would
called
like to
the
state before we
Reaper!
end, because it only happened in chat and not on the recording, but it was looked up that the crime of passion defense was not used to until the 1940s,
In the
continuing the
US.
trend of us. What?
In the U.S. I looked that fact up. It's specifically not until 1940s in the U.S.
Contributing to the long tradition of us learning history facts during this game.
Yep. Can't go a session without learning history facts. But I think I know if I want to end. So we're all together. I wait for Ruth probably until like 1 and then turn to everyone. Is Mr. Conductor with us too?
I'm assuming I would not have visited my wife in the wee hours of the morning. So yeah, I have to be with you guys. I'm probably gonna let you know that like I'm gonna need a bunk to stay in.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. I'm like, look, you're free to stay in the bar, though. I'm going to tell you, I'm not sure how much longer this bar is going to be safe. We may have to shut it down and abandon it for a while
Well,
because the mafia is recouping. Felix is still alive, and Felix knows who I am. I don't know if he knows that I'm Rocco, but I'm sure he can find out pretty easily. And I don't know if I can put the people of this bar in danger.
no, that's fair. I respect that.
So we may have to shut down for a bit. At the very least, if they come for us, they'll come for just us. I'm not going to let them come for anyone else in the area.
I agree. We need to keep people safe.
More importantly, though, I haven't heard back from Ruth, and we don't have a lot of time. I think we need to operate on how much we know. Are we good to use the fourth favor?
What are we specifically going to be using it for?
Information. Everything he knows about the red tape. Family lineage, name, anything, including relations.
Living relatives.
Yeah.
Nick, is the red tape still in City Hall?
Right now, no.
Okay. I'm assuming if I do a scan of Chicago, I'm not going to be able to find her, or would you like me to make a roll of that?
Don't make a roll. I'm gonna say like you haven't actually pried into her non-masked lights. So you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
cannot easily recognize this person.
Yeah, I'm gonna mention like if you want, I can try to track her from wherever she is in City Hall for a day and then see where she ends up.
I don't think we have a day. We're on a clock here, unfortunately, Mr. C. And we have to we need information we can act on sooner rather than later. You know? Not
Okay.
a question of your abilities, it's a question of timing. We're already 1 day down and we only have 2 days left before things, go south.
What's happening in 2 days?
In 2 days, our friend here is back to being the Prince of Cats, and then the red tape has full access to the real Gwen of the Green Death.
Yeah, I forget if the contract was actually explained to us in character, but I'm just gonna be like, okay.
Like
There was a lot going on. I feel like it was, but
Okay.
At some point, we definitely hashed it out.
Yeah. Am I right about that? Am I right about that, Tom?
yep.
So look, we don't got a lot of time to waste, and every day we spend just looking around trying to figure something out without being able to act on it is a day wasted. If this isn't a favor to burn, what is? Y'all with me?
As good as anything.
All right.
This is a terminal decision.
You want to do the honest, Tom?
Yeah. I will go through doing the ritual ceremonies to call on Tagger and Prince of Cats, Lord of Chicago, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Does he arrive?
He will appear. Just go, spoken before. What task do you wish to call upon me for?
A task of information this time, if you are able to grant it.
I will grant what I can.
Within
We
your
need-
oh, sorry, you take it, Tom.
We need all the information you have on the one that we know of the red tape, what her, who she is, what her goals are, who her relatives and her family lineage are,
As
what
much
she
as you
can do.
as much as you can answer both in your with both your power as from when you were Gwyn and as the Prince of Cats, Lord of Chicago.
In the spirit of fairness, do you wish for merely information that is completely verified or also speculation?
Speculation, as long as it is separated from the information that is completely verified.
We were looking for as much as we can, anything we could even potentially act on.
By birth and by contract, she is known as Marissa Rigby. Woman of descent for... There is minor nobility for whom I once made a mistake in her background, but that was several centuries ago. How she found that contract, I do not know. However, from there it is odd. I am certain you have felt the same oddity, Gwyn. That's correct, Mr. Conductor.
Thank you.
That someone who, by all accounts, should not have such a thing has a claim upon this city. He's going to look to Good Spirit to confirm this.
Sorry, can you repeat that? It broke up a little for me.
But he also finds it odd that she has a claim on this city.
Yes. Agreed.
I have not looked into her in great detail as a result of what her aura does to our kind and I suspect many others. What I say now is primarily speculation. I cannot verify any aspect of it. Perhaps you or any of your other compatriots can. What she does, in my mind, is enforce all of the natural laws of this plane. And there are precious few entities capable of doing so. It's possible she is some sort of magus herself. I'm aware of several points in this city that have a similar effect. Prison and City Hall, most predominantly. There is a deeper concern of mine, though. To control and enforce law means that you must have some authority over it. There are lords, kings of various domains who can do much the same. I'm uncertain if you have ever met one of the monarchs of the Fey Realm. Looking again to good spirits.
I'm pretty sure know of / met, if you include very, very brief of at-large affairs, is yes. Have actually had any conversation with is no.
I am
Like,
told. Yeah, that I think is pretty accurate. That like you really have not met them directly.
yeah. I have seen them afar.
Like at a party or something.
Yeah.
I know for certain that some of the lords of various underworlds and gods in charge of them can achieve such effect within their own realm, and I am told that Fey royalty can do so as well. However, seeing as how that is from whence I draw my power, it does not affect me. This is speculation on my part, but I would look into what sort of entity she truly is. Because there are
So
precious few that can claim such domain over the realm of mortals.
Are you suggesting she's not human then?
That I do not know. I'm suggesting she is not merely human. How much and to what extent I am ignorant.
If I may ask another question of speculation. You mentioned that the prison, and what was the other area he said?
City Hall itself.
Have an aura similar to hers. Do you think that's a result of her or something independent?
It appears to persist without her active involvement, and thus I suspect if it is her fault, it is merely a fact of a superior ordering someone to do something. What causes it, I do not know.
All right. And I guess then just the last part of the question. As far as you know, does she have any other family? Especially since that contract seems to be a family tie. Anyone else that's connected to her?
Parents and grandparents still reside within this realm. There are 2 close blood ties and quite a few with some separation.
Who are the close blood ties?
Yeah, as this conversation is going on, Mr. Conductor is going behind the bar and pulling out the yellow or the white pages phone book.
Fair enough.
Yep. This is it. Siblings, I believe.
Rigby.
That's something. Do they have
No
do you know the-
descendants, near as I can tell.
Still, siblings would have a claim on that contract just as much as her.
That they would.
Do you have their names?
I do not. They have not claimed anything, though I could spend some time to find them.
Do you know if they well, actually, I don't think distance really matters at this point, does it, guys?
No,
Not really.
No.
I'm still in the party. He doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm like, all right. Anything else you think we need to know based on our question?
I don't think it would be related to this, but I would want to know what other anchors you found in the area are. But I think that would be a separate conversation.
That it would. What other piece of information? I am uncertain how important this is, but those who follow her are mystically tied to her. There is a connection there that feeds both ways. I am uncertain where it came from and what the stronger source is.
Well, that explains that, Mr. Conductor is going to say under his breath. Cool.
All right. Are we satisfied, gentlemen?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
feel like I'm going to think of a question to have asked next week, but yeah.
Well, next week you'll be Tamarin again, and he'll be Gwen again.
In that
I meant
case,
more out of character.
Yeah, no, I know.
yeah.
Ash, is there anything that you can think of?
Ash isn't here.
I'm not here.
I was
Ash
gonna
can
say-
comment, though Ruth cannot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
No,
I think. I mean, if you guys could convince him to look for the blood ties specifically
I don't want
as
it to
part of this favor, but
Yeah, as long as it doesn't consume a new favor, I think that would be fair.
That would consume a new favor. Right now, he's answering information he currently knows.
I
Yeah.
think knowing that's something we can investigate further on our own.
Yeah.
He gave us a start point, which is what we needed.
Yeah, I also think that, like, as he's, saying goodbye and about to, like, burst into green flames, that's when Satanic Shot should walk into the door.
Just miss him again.
Just
Yep.
actually sees, like, the hell was that?
I mean, Satanic Shot has been here for a conversation with original Gwen.
I saw Gwen. I've seen Gwen before. I think this is when you get a call from the phone of just like, yeah, sorry, I'm really busy. I think I could maybe get that 4 a.m. Yeah, gotta go. Bye.
Ruth, are you okay? You sound out of breath.
You guys have a good night. Bye. Thanks.
And send in the morning what we have figured out so that she can follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, please have your detective follow up on things, please.
Yeah, we will get you all of this info in the morning.
At 4 a.m. in the morning.
We'll get that at 4 a.m. in the morning. Why did your voice sound so scratchy? Haven't you been drinking any water? Hydrate, Ruth.
We're supposed to life.
Staying hydrated is important to maintaining your stamina.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, this is true.
I mean, I'm good for tonight if you guys are.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to leave off.
Yeah, I think so. Well, actually, right before we leave, Nick, I would like to flip through the phone book.
Yep.
How many Rigby's are listed?
I'm gonna go with 6, but you can easily narrow it down.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, since this is a traditional 1920s phone book, what's the address?
Yeah, you can get
A.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't matter how many there are, I will check all of them. If she's sleeping in her bed, I will find her.
I mean, if there's 6 of them, it shouldn't take you very long.
No,
No, I really shouldn't.
it'll take me 6 minutes. Like 30 of those seconds is finding the page again and reading the next address.
Yep. Mr. C can find a lot from this, including what he's pretty sure is the Red Tape's actual house, which is like a fairly quaint house in the suburbs of Chicago.
That's like fantastic and also perfect.
Looks like the boogeyman's going to do a little break-in and enter-in tomorrow.
You are going to die.
Buddy,
If that's there,
don't.
I
Buddy,
don't
the
consider
contract
don't.
is there, or if she keeps it on her. Like, does she keep it on her? Moreover,
I'm not even
would I
interested
know
about.
that?
I'm not even specifically going to find the contract. I want to go find out stuff about her. And I literally built my character to break in and enter places. That is what I do.
And no, the main contract she keeps on her, much as she keeps all of the ones that you wrote for her that she thinks are worth keeping around in, like, her purse.
Excellent. I love that for her.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's fine. She can do that. But going to her house is an opportunity to learn about her.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
so as I say, I think I found her, and I will describe the house. And then, like, the last thing I will say before, like, end of the night is, seems like a very small, quaint little place for someone who can give other people superpowers.
I'm sorry. What now? And then we end there.
That's really
Yeah, that's a good point to end.
There we go, buddy.
Have a good night, guys.
Good
night.
Have a
night.
Good night.
Okay, so is the recording stopped?
Stopping recording. Good night recording.